Actually, not as much as one might have thought, because the market has really not reacted very much, the gilt market I'm talking about now, to either the referendum or anything that's actually happened since. The market seems to have taken it very much in its stride, focused on monetary policy, the implications of that. That really seems to be the dominant factor. Brexit, at the moment, does not. I would certainly say, in terms of the last 10 years and what we've had to face, the financial crisis was much more significant and had a much greater impact, not least because it meant we had to borrow so much more. We're currently in the financial year 2018-19 expected to borrow 106 billion in terms of gilts that we will be issuing. Now, that number is quite interesting because the actual new cash requirement is not that large. Redemptions play a strong role in that, but in the next financial year, redemptions start to increase, not least because of the amount of gilts that we had to issue at the height of the financial crisis. So on current projections, what we call the gross financing requirement, that's not necessarily exactly the amount we will be issuing in gilts, is projected to be closer to 150 billion rather than 100 billion. It's held up very well, and from all quarters of the investor base. So be that overseas investors, be that the domestic investor base, very important also for our long-dated market, it's held up very well. What would worry me is any change in the market and the market's ability to actually factor those in, to price them accordingly. In other words, things that affect the smooth functioning of markets. That would worry me more. I'm not saying it actually does worry me, but if we were to find a situation where markets were potentially very illiquid, I think that could make life a little bit more complicated. The other point I should probably say is that we're always concerned as an operational entity that our ability to conduct operations remains unimpaired. So business continuity and those sorts of things are a very important factor too. That's an interesting question. So the best part of my job, probably without a doubt, working with some people, and I should say I came from the private sector, and realizing just how good some people in the public sector actually are, what an incredible job they do. Luckily, I have plenty of things which I can do outside the office which have nothing to do with anything other than personal debt.